Good afternoon and good evening to all of my combo fans out there. It's me, your captain speaking. If you give me just one moment, I'm going to let you know that this stream is happening right now. I'll be right back. Hello everybody and welcome to a Thursday night stream. We're back and we're going to be playing, I think, one of Legacy's sweethearts, Worldgorger Dragon, banned in Legacy for a long time, unbanned, I think in 2016, which is, I mean, surprising for as little as this sees play. So I don't know. This is an interesting ban, but we're back and it's a fantastic, fun plan that actually recently got an upgrade. Murders at Karlov Manor gave us basic typed Surveil Lands. So these lands, of which Underground Mortuary is what we're going to be playing tonight, this enters the battlefield tapped. And when it enters the battlefield, Surveil 1, and Surveil, for if you don't know, lets you look at the top card and either keep it there or put it in the graveyard. This works really well if we are a Reanimate deck or something similar that cares about putting cards in our graveyard. Now, because this is typed swamp forest, we can fetch for it and do all kinds of really cool things on our opponent's end step. For example, Worldly Tutor. Now, this is a top deck tutor that puts a creature card that we tutor on top of our library. Pairing that with an Underground Mortuary, we get Entomb. We just get another Entomb. Now it's a little bit worse, right? And that's why we're only playing 4 Worldly Tutors in the main deck. 3 Worldly Tutors and then 4 total. Excuse me. There we go. But we get to do this whole thing where we have better Entombs, copies 5, 6, 7, rather than, say, Faithless Looting that was present in a Rakdos Reanimator build. And because this is an enters the battlefield trigger, we can play Worldgorger Dragon. Now, I'll explain this loop when we're actually doing it, but suffice it to say that we get infinite ETB triggers, infinite mana, and we can essentially just kill our opponent all in one go. Takes a little bit to get there. We don't actually have an infinite mana outlet in the deck. What we have to do is a little bit more roundabout, but that means that we're a little bit better outside of that specific combo. And then we get to sideboard into a Sands Graveyard deck with the Witherbloom Apprentice Chain of Smog combo. This works really well with Worldly Tutor, where we don't actually want to surveil cards away, but Worldly Tutor will allow us to find the last little combo piece that we need, namely Witherbloom Apprentice. So with this, we get a lot of really cool tech in a new package thanks to the Surveil Lands of Murders at Karlov Manor. So I'm already queued up. I have a league ready to go as soon as I find the window, and we're going to get started. Before I click find match, I just want to let you guys know, you're going to see it in the what is this called? Sidebar above my head. But we actually recently got sponsored by KMC, and I've been using their perfect hards for a little while, and I am really excited to change out for the hypermats as opposed to a competitor who will remain nameless, that has seen a drop in quality recently. So I'm really excited to kind of de-sleeve the Epic Storm and try out some new tech, which, by the way, if you're a member of our YouTube channel, Bryant posted a couple of videos, one of which is a trophy, on some really cool tech in the Epic Storm. I highly suggest you checking that out and subscribing and becoming a supporter of us on YouTube for all of that really awesome information. Tony, I see you in chat. That's awesome. Let's go. Paul, the dragon does look hungry, and Nate, the perfect fits and hypermats are a match made in heaven. I've been using the perfects, the hards, and I just am ready to go for the hypermats. So that's kind of fun. When sick on a Thursday evening? Yeah, absolutely, Emily. I hope that you start feeling better, but not until after this league, obviously, right? So, yes, Tony, that is exactly that one. I was going to mention that whenever it actually ended up happening, because we need to fetch with the Surveil trigger on the stack, then Worldly Tutor. So there's a little bit of a layering with how we stack our triggers. But yes, we don't want to shuffle away our tutor. So top deck tutors are a little bit weird. If you don't play Vintage or Commander, you're very likely not to kind of recognize some of the little nuances, but that's why we're here. We're going to help show you, and we're going to test this kind of stuff out. While we're waiting for our first opponent, let me tell you about how you can rent this deck, which was surprisingly inexpensive, 170 tickets, if that, on Card Hoarder. So let me roll that ad really quick. Brian's going to tell you about all the cool stuff with Card Hoarder.
With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist.
All right, now we're getting the Limb Duels Vault combo in chat. Yeah, Joe, the Limb Duels Vault is pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. I played it in Commander with Yuriko, but that was a little while ago. So here we go with an interesting hand. We have a bunch of reanimation and an unmask where we can potentially draw something. I think that we're going to ship this hand. This is not something that we need. Cutting the music during the ads. Yeah, I need to do that. I'll program that into my buttons later. This is perfect. Okay. So this is a turn one. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put back the Griselbrand. I'm going to hit done. And we can Entomb plus dance, probably get a Griselbrand and see where things go. If I find a black card, I can also... Oh, I should have... Griselbrand was my black card. I don't know why I thought that. Okay, well, that's fine. Yeah, that was a little bit of a misstep on my end. I could have totally just kept that Griselbrand. I thought that there was only one. There's actually 2 Griselbrands in here. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, let's see how this Entomb goes. It works. Let's get a Griselbrand. And Dance of the Dead, which is essentially another Animate Dead. It's got a lot of text on it, but essentially it's an Animate Dead. And I have like an untap ability that I have to activate because that ETB is tapped, and then I have the chance to untap it. So, okay, let's draw some cards. I am doing pretty okay with this. What I can do is, okay, our opponent has scooped, but what I could do at that point is unmask myself, pitching a Grief, discard the Atraxa, reanimate the Atraxa, we're good to go. Okay, we're gonna begin sideboarding against a fair blue deck by the looks of things. I don't think that this is a deck that I want to sideboard our Chain of Smog combo against. They're not going to have, I mean, they might have Rest in Peace, actually. I don't know how fair of a blue deck they are. They're playing Prismatic Vista and Brainstorm, Basic Island. I don't know. But until I see it, I think that I'm going to just stick with what I have and then move on from there. I know, Kiss Waylander, they're known for combo decks, but I don't know what Omnitel? I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to keep it all as is, though. I don't think that I need, like, the Fairy Macabres or anything like that, so we're going to keep it good. High Tide or Miracles? I don't know. I'm not going to speculate quite yet. I need to see a little bit more of the pile. So this is lacking a second mana source. I'm going to mulligan this one. We can mulligan quite well here. And this one... not quite there yet either. Root is off the Worldly Tutors now. Oh, interesting, Jared. Okay. Back on the Trolls. That's an interesting one. I wanted to play with Worldly Tutor, though. I'm going to mulligan this one. And, oh man, no lands. Okay, so we're going to go to 4. And we're going to keep this one. Keep this one. I can put the Griselbrand and the Dance of the Dead and the Underground Mortuary. Maybe I want... No, I'll put the Underground Mortuary away. So we're in Entomb or an Animate Dead, or a Worldly Tutor, excuse me. We have 7 hits now. Tutor is super interesting with the Surveil Lands. Yeah, that's what I thought. I wanted to play with the cool thing before it gets optimized. Let's play with a little bit of the fun whack stuff. Leyline of Sanctity, by the way, is an interesting one here. I am not going to do anything here. I could pitch... Oh, I can't do anything. Never mind. Yeah. Never mind. They had the Leyline of Sanctity. We knew this. Okay, so... they're blue-white something. I'm going to grab a Surveil Land, see what happens. Entomb, I want that. That's exactly what I want. Okay. So I won't do this now. What I'm gonna do is, yeah, I could throw away 2 cards for no good reason. So I want to split this up a little bit. Entomb at their end step, and then Animate Dead, so that maybe I can just use Dark Ritual to hard cast Grief if I need to as a secondary plan. I think that that's the plan. So end step Entomb, even just get another Underground Mortuary, and then move on from there. Lorien revealed. Okay. And they get a basic island. I'm moderately concerned about something like a... I don't know. Back to basics, maybe? Force of negation here? Yeah, force of negation. That's fine. I am going to get another Underground Mortuary. We're just going to kind of get some card filtering. I do not want another land. So that can go to the graveyard. Unmask. Well, that will eventually be good if I need to unmask myself. But for now, I'm just going to land this Grief, and it's a 3/2 with Menace, and I don't know, maybe we can see what we can buy in terms of time. They are representing Supreme Verdict mana. Yeah, Swords to Plowshares mana also represented. Impulse. Okay. I wonder if this is like a blue-white Omni, like an Omniscience Show and Tell deck, which kind of makes me want to make sure I have an Atraxa in my hand whenever this all happens. I don't know. True name Nemesis. Maybe I don't know what's going on now. This is very strange. I have to just pass. Although, alternatively, I can... I mean, this is going to get... So what I can do is I can Grief, pitch the Unmask. It'll go into the graveyard, and then I can hit a Dance of the Dead, and it's a +1/+1, so it's a 4/3. Yeah, this is an interesting choice, but... here we go. I think this is what I have to do, and then in the upkeep I can pay to untap Grief, and now I'm attacking for 4, they're attacking for 3. I would win the race, but right now I am not doing anything, because they can... Well, no, this has Menace. Never mind, they can't just block. Dead if I put in Archon. Yeah, Archon would be better. Detention Sphere. What is going on? Is this 2017? 2017 called. This is even earlier than 2017. This is like 2014. Wild. Okay. Marsh Flats. I will take it. That's going to be another Underground Mortuary. I don't know if I'm going to hold that for something like in a Worldly Tutor. Yeah, you're right, Emily. They might be. I have no idea. I don't know whether to hold this. I'm not going to hold it. I want to just find an Entomb or a creature right now. Well, that's going to go in the graveyard. I already have one of those. Drew another one anyway. Okay. So, unfortunately, all of their removal has exiled my creatures, so I can't get recursion going with multiple reanimates, but I don't know. You know, Paul, I can't let them win with ancient tech. I mean, I'm playing Worldgorger Dragon, which arguably is even more ancient tech, but we'll see. So ancient that it was banned in Legacy because reasons. Okay, so I can hardcast griefs again. I'm not winning that race though. So I need to figure out something, and quickly. I don't think that it matters. I'm not going to get up to the point where I mean, I can hard cast an Archon if I get a dark ritual going on in there. That would be a series of draws for sure. I mean, they're still representing... Oh, Ancient Tomb. What's going on here? We haven't seen anything that Ancient Tomb would be good with. I mean, I guess this guarantees that this is an Omniscience deck, like a Show and Tell deck. Containment Priest. I think we can concede now to lethal on board. Yeah, Show goes well with Tomb. Okay. So we're going to change this up. I don't think that I need to expect any kind of graveyard hate. They're just going to go bigger than us. They're not going to necessarily care about graveyard hate. I don't have an answer to ley lines, though, which is unfortunate. Not the end of the world, though. I mean, I do have, 12 targeted discard. So it did stop quite a lot of my disruption, but I think we're going to call it good and just resubmit, recognize that our opponent is probably playing an Omniscience pile. Yeah, Priest does not. Priest is an interesting one, Jared, or Joe. Jared is a replenish deck possible. Maybe, I don't know. Witherbloom doesn't target. No, that's true, but I don't need to swap to stop the targeting. Because I'll just win anyway through other ways. This is pretty okay. Yeah, I'll keep this. What I can do is grief pitch. Oh, never mind. Okay, well, I can still grief pitch grief, or pitch Thoughtseize rather. Grief pitch Thoughtseize and then reanimate it, or I can Worldly Tutor for an Archon, for example. Draw it, Thoughtseize myself, reanimate. I think that that's probably better, just like a Worldly Tutor. It's not going to go well with a Surveil Land, but it'll get the job done probably. Okay, so let's Worldly Tutor, and let's find the... is it going to be an Archon? Is it going to be an Atraxa? It's probably going to be I mean, is it just Griselbrand? Is Griselbrand just always the get? It's probably just always the get. Yeah. So we have a Griselbrand in hand. Now I'm going to Thoughtseize myself. They are forcing that. Okay. That's fine. I could get things started just by like reanimating a grief, but then I'm so far away from actually doing anything impactful other than attacking for 3. So I think I'm okay with this. Oh, they don't have a second land drop. Okay, well maybe that changes things. Ugh, second Griselbrand. Okay, well, I am going to grief pitch a Griselbrand that they think that they know about, and then reanimate it. They're going to have some kind of interaction. Oh, they're not. I mean, this might be a Swords of Plowshares. Sure. They're just missing land drops. They have a hand full of interaction. How about another grief? Dark Ritual was a very good draw there. Okay, they're just missing land drops this whole time. And I am attacking for 3. Okay, that's just fine by me. And they still have yet to hit land drops. Ooh, okay. Dance of the Dead is interesting. If I can get Griselbrand or Archon in the graveyard, I'll be okay with that. I'm guessing Screw beats Flood, right? So, I mean, technically, they're only 1 land drop behind me. They're discarding a Jace the Mind Sculptor. What a wild time. This might just be like Stoneblade, but with Ancient Tomb, I am having a hard time understanding what our opponent is doing. There's Ancient Tomb. This is 3 mana. No, 2 mana. Rest in Peace. Ah, they did have a Rest in Peace. Okay. Dark Ritual 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm 2 mana away from hard casting this Archon. Should be kind of fun, but they're at 5 life. So these Ancient Tomb taps have not been without their own problems. Another Dark Ritual will do it, but let's just see what happens right now. We can shut off their Ancient Tomb is shut off. They just didn't find blue mana, didn't find anything going on. Oh, there's blue mana. Okay. Damage. This is loss of life. So I forgot to play the Underground Mortuary. That's my bad. Okay. Energy field combo. That makes sense. And so my goal is to, man, I really missed out. I could have had the Archon right now. That's really, really unfortunate. I'm guessing that they have some counter magic though. So, okay. So if you don't know, energy field, prevent all damage that would be dealt to you by sources you don't control. When a card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, sacrifice energy field. Rest in Peace is on the battlefield. Leyline, target opponent. Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, they've got it locked up, don't they? You, Kevin, you got it right. For some reason I was thinking Archon was all opponents, but nope. Okay, what can I do? Let's take a look at the deck. Can I do anything about this? Is this just a hard lock? Archon doesn't target them, or can't target them because of Leyline. They can't lose. Oh, wow. Okay, the Witherbloom Apprentice. Each opponent. Yeah, absolutely. Jared, you are right. Witherbloom does not target, therefore that would have given us the win. Okay, I have to concede because we have been successfully locked out of the game. Wow. Yeah, if I had that sideboard juke, I would have had an opportunity to figure out a way to win the game. Unfortunately, they're at 2 life and stabilized very good. Very well, excuse me. So that's just going to do it. Wow. We didn't get to see what our opponent was doing until the very last game. So we didn't really have any way of preparing for them. Interesting. I mean, it's a cool concept for a control deck, that's for sure. Yeah, it's a Helm combo, Paul. Typically it's Helm, or we saw Jace the Mind Sculptor, right? So that'll do it as well. All they're doing is sitting behind this Rest in Peace energy field for as long as they want, and then eventually they will compile a win. They probably have 2 or 3 win conditions in the entire deck, and everything else is just making sure that they're alive to assemble this prison combo, or prison lock. All right. That was pretty wild. Let's go to round number 2. Our opponents with the spice already. I thought we were playing a spicy deck, but no, not at all. If you want to check out the spice that we're playing, though, you can check out the link in the video description below for our Moxfield deck list link. And there's all kinds of really cool stuff from Moxfield, but let Bryant tell you about that while we wait for our second opponent.
Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks.
All right, and we are back, and I've got a turn 1 all rolled up, and I'm going to keep this. Yeah, seems pretty okay to me. The only thing that could make it better is if we were to top deck a Surveil Land or a discard spell. Okay. We are going to, I know that we're going to do this in the face of an underground sea. But what I want to do is win right now. And to do that, okay, let's bottom this Dark Ritual. I don't need that anymore. So, here we go. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Let's Entomb. And here we actually, if they don't counter the Entomb, which they didn't, I have 2 chances at glory here. I have both of my enchantments in hand. So let's start off with a Worldgorger Dragon and a Dance of the Dead. Now they can counter this one, and then I've got it all over again. So I have 2 mana, which is great. Stifle. Okay. Well, that is not the correct time to stifle that, but that's not a problem. Let's do this again. All right, so we are going to exile all of our permanents that we control. That includes the Animate Dead. And when it leaves the battlefield, we're going to exile it, and then we're just essentially going to be blinking everything that we have. I need to attach the Worldgorger, and then we're going to Surveil 1. Oh, I stacked that incorrectly. Okay, well, I need to remember to do that properly so that I can get the Surveil on the battlefield. There we go. Okay, so there we go. There's the Surveil. Now we get this, and this is going to be a lot of clicks. I'm going to get better at this as we go. Ooh, Moto freezing already. That's not great. Okay, and then Surveils, and we're just essentially doing this until I hit a Griselbrand, and then I know I have one in hand. I get it. And then I'm going to Griselbrand. Reanimate the Griselbrand, or Animate Dead the Griselbrand, and draw a bunch of cards. I mean, I could do that with Atraxa too, I guess. But Griselbrand is the one that's going to allow me to actually win the game. So This is just a lot of clicks, and it is time consuming. It would get... I need to move this window over here. I don't know which ones I can yield to, because I'm not actually making any mana right now. So my ability to make mana is dependent on Lotus Petals and Dark Rituals now. So in fact, I'm just going to stop this combo right now. Because of that, I'm not making an infinite amount of mana, so I'll just leave it be. So now we get an Atraxa. Waiting on our opponent. Yeah, because I did this on turn 1, I'm already 2 Lotus Petals down and 3 Dark Rituals down. The likelihood that I'm actually going to find the last Griselbrand before I find Lotus Petal and the last Dark Ritual, one of 2 Lotus Petals and the last Dark Ritual, kind of slim. So it actually is probably better for me to just get Atraxa, reload my hand, and then call it good. So here we've got an enchantment, a creature, a sorcery, and a land. And that it? Okay, so we can get the Archon. The other option is, instead of the Archon, I can get the Grief, and I have some disruption. Yeah, let's do that. And then a Surveil, because I had stacked my triggers incorrectly the first time. That Thoughtseize is fine, but not great. I'm going to put that into the graveyard. Let's just grief you right now. Pitching. No, let's just wait. Let's not do that. Let's wait for them to do their cantripping and everything before any of this all happens. So yes, this is likely. Oh, okay, sure. You can grief me now. This is likely, I mean, Dimir scam. So there we go. And they're going to take something. I don't know. Not the Griselbrand. Probably not the grief. But our hand is fairly resilient to discard, which is nice. They took the Reanimate. If they have Reanimate, they don't, apparently. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to gain a bunch of life first off. But yes, if they had Reanimate, they could take my Griselbrand and reanimate it, which would be problematic. So I'll grief, pitching a grief. And if I need to, I can animate dead it. Survey says they have a couple of Orcish Bowmasters in hand. Okay. That's not going to get them very far, although I'm not going to end up actually animating my grief. Yeah. Okay, now, mostly just because they could Orcish Bowmaster. Oh, they didn't Orcish Bowmasters in the end step. That's an interesting one. Okay. Worldly Tutor. Okay, that's a fun one. I can get another grief if I feel the need to. They're at 8. So unfortunately, Atraxa is not a 3-turn clock, and this is a petty theft. Okay, that will work. I think, so they have an Orcish Bowmasters in hand. I think I'm okay just doing all of, I could go through the Worldgorger loop. I really don't want to click right now. I feel like that's not a good use of my time, but I can do that in a little bit. This is just better. Yeah, I think this is just better. I can Thoughtseize myself. And I will bin the Atraxa. Which is all good, and then I can just animate dead the Atraxa again. Okay, they have a Brazen Borrower. That's all good. We know that they have an Orcish Bowmasters in hand, which is why I didn't discard the Griselbrand, because that would just be a lot of damage, and that's just not going to be tenable. What I can do is Worldly Tutor for Grief. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to grab a Grief, and we have Grief pitching a Griselbrand, protected, Reanimate, and Atraxa. And we can Grief, pitch the Griselbrand, see what they're working with. We know about this Orcish Bowmasters, and that's it so far. Okay, well, they did actually have a force, so I'm glad we did that. Now we have a big ol' fatty. Atraxa enters the battlefield for the second time, and there's an Orcish Bowmasters. Okay, cool. I think that this is taking a shorter amount of time than me clicking through a Worldgorger loop, but I could be wrong. Okay, so we have instant. Okay, instant, artifact, sorcery, land, and now we get to do a bunch of things. So land, we can Dark Ritual, and we're going to animate dead and reanimate a Grief. I think that that's pretty okay. Yeah, the enchantment. So we have 2 Griefs, which we don't necessarily need, but we're going to. I know that I can get the Worldgorger. Oh, the Orcish Bowmaster. That's probably a better one. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, Joe. But that's what I'm going to do. Yes. Yeah, you got it, Joe. Okay, cool. Now, if they try to ponder for another, if they have another Brazen Borrower for petty theft, they're going to lose a lot of life to do so. Okay. I feel pretty comfortable now, and I definitely think that that took less time than the clicks. Survey says That's a lot of damage. And yeah, sure, why not? I know that they have a Force of Will in hand. That's it. Never mind. I don't need to do that. Oh wait, no, I don't. That Force of Will was discarded. That's fine. Taking the loop makes you win. Put the Archon in the graveyard. Reanimate spell on top. You animate dead to reanimate the Archon. Draw the animate spell, and each time you loop, you have another Archon trigger. Yes, absolutely. But Kevin, that would take a long time, and I think that this was just a more effective use of our time. So I think that I want to sideboard here. Not because I think that they're going to have a ton of graveyard hate. I think that what they're going to have is like surgical extractions, but being able to take out the Worldgorger Dragon, all of, well, let's see, we can get rid of the Griselbrands and the animates here. How much is this? This is 13. Okay. And then we can cut a couple of Entombs. Is that reasonable? And we still have Traxa Archon, which I think are the two best creatures to reanimate. And we have our own Reanimate Grief package that if we just need to, we can, you know, work with these. Our Reanimate package is 2 Entombs, the Worldly Tutors here, and then the 4 Reanimates. I think that this is a better option for us in game 2. Yeah. So we're going to be that transformational sideboard to just get them with the gotcha. Okay. I'm going to keep this one. This is our immediate scam hand. Well, that they might actually end up having. Well, that's fine. If not, I mean, they can take a Lotus Petal and stop it. Oh, okay. So what they're going to do is reanimate. Oh, nope. Interesting. Worldly Tutor. Okay. So that could be a next turn thing. Probably not, though. Let's play the land out. That's what we're gonna do. Grief into the graveyard, or put on top. Okay, we don't have to reanimate everything right now. Let's just play this a little slow. Let's play the Lotus Petal. They've got 4 cards. Yeah, I know. I can just do this on my next turn. So let's just play it a little bit slower. And oh, Joe, you want me to reanimate their grief and just like really go to town? Okay. So if I do that, then I should probably grief them, pitching this Dark Ritual. Yeah, okay. No, I'm not going to rid out the second grief. What I'm going to do is actually get them nearly hellbent. Oh. Okay. Well, that's why. So, wow. I cannot disrupt this. I think I'm going to take the Brainstorm here. I could have kept 2 bodies and discarded them twice. I was discarding them twice and keeping 1 body. Yeah, but this is not going to go as well as I had hoped. They can't daze me because they have a swamp. They have force. So what I could do is take the brainstorm, reanimate the force, and then I have things going on. I don't know about that. I think it is the brainstorm. The question is whether I reanimate now and make them force or just wait. And I think now, seeing their hand, I'm going to wait. The Lotus Petal is kind of important, and I'm drawing a grief. Oh my gosh, of course. Okay. That was a blind rip off of the top. So, a little unfortunate for me. Really good for them. But now, I can draw this grief and Worldly Tutor. And they just let that go. Okay, so let's get... Do I want to have an Atraxa or an Archon? Probably an Atraxa and surveil it into the graveyard. So they already have 1 reanimate gone. I'm going to just hope that they don't draw another one. How about that? Troll. Okay. Now they have Daze Force. I need black card Reanimate. Okay, that's pretty good. They don't know this. So... Yeah, I know. But, so I think I'm going to leave this in my hand. I'm going to wait until I can grief them to kind of throw my hand at them all at once, overload their interaction. I know they have Force Daze at the moment. And they are drawing... Okay, so now they have Hardcast Force of Negation and Pitchcast Force of Will. Yeah, Joe, I don't have that many, but that's fine. Okay, so this could be a place to throw the Witherbloom Apprentice out. If it gets Force of Willed, that's fine. I have a follow-up Magecraft spell. Yeah, Gary, bad beats. That's fine. Our opponent is playing one of the better... cantrip decks of the format right now that's not Beanstalk. Okay, so that's a Force of Will, pitching a Daze. That's all good. I have a follow-up. I have to play around Daze if that ends up being a thing. So... Got a couple of things that I need to do. I'm being clocked for 3, so I don't have that many turns to do it, but we can get there. That's not what I was hoping for. It could be a way to get this Force of Negation out of their hand. I don't know. And if not, then it's a black card. It'll tutor a black card for grief. Unfortunately, the tutor gets, the Witherbloom Apprentice or the Sedgemoor Witch, the cards that I already have in hand. I am going to do this. Try to bait out this Force of Negation. That doesn't happen. So I'm going to get a Witherbloom Apprentice and cast it. Brainstorm. Okay. That was their unknown card in hand. Pretty good unknown card in hand. Witherbloom Apprentice resolves, which is really nice. And I'm just a Chain of Smog away from a protected win. Okay, I've got 3 turns to do it, or 2 turns to do it. Reanimate. That is not good enough, probably. Although, if I reanimate a grief, that likely makes them force because I would have enough creatures to double block a grief. And I'm at 2 because I would gain a life. Alternatively, I can cast the Sedgemoor Witch and then see what happens after that. They have 3 cards. One of them is a Force of Negation. No, I think I'm gonna reanimate the grief. No, we've seen problematic flash creatures. So let's cast the Sedgemoor Witch. We already know that Petty Theft is a card that they have access to. So let's not make it any worse. Now I will happily double block here. Because they can't kill both of my creatures unless they have an Orcish Bowmasters. And if they're attacking, that kind of makes me think that they do. But I think I need this off the battlefield. Yeah, and they're killing the Sedgemoor Witch, which makes me think that they're going to... Orcish Bowmasters, my Witherbloom Apprentice. Yep. Oh, dress down. Okay, not what I was expecting. And in the main phase. Okay. They can still hardcast Force of Negation. So, Chain of Smog? Nope. Thoughtseize, though. So that loses 1 life and I go to 4. And then I can reanimate a Sedgemoor Witch first. And then Thoughtseize them. No, they probably counter that one. So it is probably an emergency cantrip, but let's just Thoughtseize them first. I realize that I'm losing value out of this one, but it's just fine. Stifle, Force. Okay. Well, I'm gonna take the Force of Negation and reanimate a Sedgemoor Witch. Yeah. Okay. And they can stifle this, but they can't really do anything else. 2 tap lands in play, Newton. Absolutely. I'm pretty excited about it. Okay, so they're going to stifle the trigger for me to gain a life. Obviously, it's also the trigger that makes them lose a life, but the gaining life function is the biggest thing here. Because I am at 1. Okay, we know that they have 1 stifle in hand. I am dead to a top-decked Orcish Bowmasters. But yeah, Joe, what you said. But we know that they don't have it in hand, so I'm okay with all of this. If I cast a Dark Ritual or something, an Unmask, that is pretty okay. What I'm going to first do is attack, and I know that they have a stifle in hand. They could stifle one of these triggers, and it's probably going to be the Witherbloom Apprentice trigger to keep... Oh, nope. Okay. Interesting. I guess I'll take the surgical extraction. I don't care about the stifle. They are dead on board. And there's a ponder. Okay. Even if they find an Orcish Bowmaster now, they're not going to be able to kill me, and they could block. So they could shoot this one and then block another. But yeah, all right, we got there. That was a little scrappy. That worked out well. I don't know if I played that. Definitely Dimir scam Newton. Definitely more of a meta deck than our round 1 opponent, which was playing Energy Flux blue-white control, which was really cool. So we are on the board. Let's start up our 3rd match, or at least look for it. And while we're doing that, let me tell you about our awesome token packs. If you want tokens and trigger reminders and all of this stuff that you need for paper play, then this is your one-stop shop for them. Let me tell you, or let me have Bryant tell you about them, and I'll be back in just 1 second.
Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game.
Alrighty, we are waiting on our 3rd opponent. Thank you, Newton. I like my shirt as well. And we didn't wait long. We are here, round number 3, and we won the die roll, which is always nice. It doesn't matter because this is an unkeepable hand. It's really close. 1 land would have this as a turn 1, or 1 mana source rather. We're gonna mulligan. And this is a turn 1 anyway. Is this a turn 1 through discard, with discard backup? So I can, it is not. This Dance of the, wait, hold up. I can put this back. Yeah, I need to Thoughtseize myself for the Griselbrand and then reanimate it. So I'm actually gonna keep this. I'm going to put back the Reanimate, because I would rather have more life to work with this Griselbrand. And we're gonna just open up a turn 1 on the draw, or on the play, excuse me. So see where things go from here. Thoughtseize myself. Griselbrand. We have a Dance of the Dead, which, if our opponent is paying attention, should send out warning labels everywhere. What the heck is going on? And why are they playing this enchantment that is unplayable garbage outside of exactly one deck? So here we go. Turns out that's the reason why. I'm going to let's grief them first really quick. I'll pitch the Atraxa just to see what we're doing, what our opponent is doing. Okay, so I can take this Swords to Plowshares, and they're not going to be going very quickly, so I feel like I can go draw another 7. And yeah, that works out really nicely because I was worried about the Teferi, but I don't need to be anymore. Pitch the Dance of the Dead, take the Teferi, and then I could also grief pitching an Entomb. Get rid of the Supreme Verdict? Sure. As long as I have Animate Dead, Worldgorger Dragon, and I'm going to discard the Worldgorger Dragon to hand size, which is exactly where we want it to be. So I'm not going to untap with my Griselbrand, not yet anyway, but I will very shortly. So... hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the planes. Okay, cool. Almost Reanimator. So I could do the whole Dark Ritual, untap this thing. But I'm not going to. It's just gonna stay that way. Yeah, it potentially seems like a good use, but what I'm gonna do is just attempt to well, actually what I'm gonna do is just grief them. I feel like this is all good. This is an 8/8 Griselbrand, by the way. Okay, so they drew another land. I'm okay with all of this, and then I have 2 mana available without using that Dark Ritual. Okay, our opponent conceded. Cool. +1 power, so lifelink +8, draw minus. Yeah, it seems pretty okay. All right. I expect our opponent to have... you literally recorded 4 matches during this one match. Well, I'm glad we didn't get paired up against each other. Jeez, Bryant. I am going to have the sideboard juke here. I feel like that's very important. They have seen Worldgorger Dragon. They're going to be ready for Worldgorger Dragon, and we are not going to give it to them. And then 2 more cards. Let's just actually have an Entomb and an Archon. Is it going to be another Entomb, actually, instead of the Archon? Yeah, we actually had all 4 Reanimates, by the way. Sniped Tony a week or 2 ago. Yeah, you know what? I actually saw that. Whether he was actually sniping, like watching streams, like, I'm going to get paired into Tony. I don't know. But it definitely felt that way, like that, which was fun. Okay. We've got the sideboard juke, which worked out relatively well. And here we have a very good start. I'm going to keep this hand. So we have the combo in hand. This combo is not an I win the game combo. It is I make infinite creatures that give me infinite life if they Supreme Verdict. So, I don't know. It's close. The fact that we have Chain of Smog, that's the hardest part of the combo to actually have in hand. Wow, we are 1 mana away from just a turn 1. I would like some discard, some disruption for our opponent. We have 12 pieces of disruption. I have a card that's just begging to be pitched. And if that's the case, if I have a Grief, then I can pitch Atraxa, Reanimate Grief, which would be a really good way to go. Our opponent pondered and chose not to shuffle. We'll see where things go. Well, there's the Grief. It's a little bit delayed, but that's probably good enough. And I get that that delays our turn, like our combo turn, but that's fine. Is this a Teferi? Okay. Well, I am going to Worldly Tutor now. And I am going to get this Grief. Luckily... Oh, they bounced? Well, I mean, I guess they were going to bounce something for the card advantage anyway. They bounced my Lotus Petal. Okay, so let's just Grief right now, pitching the Atraxa. See what happens. This is all happening, which is lovely. Okay. So I'm going to take this Force of Negation, and then they have the Surgical Extraction, and I'm going to make them use it. And paid life. I don't know if that's going to be necessarily a win or not. Maybe I should have taken the Surgical Extraction and made them pitch a card. Yeah, I probably should have done that. And now they see all of this and they know to leave up Swords, Prismatic Ending. Yeah. Although the ward is... Oh, it's just pay 3 life. Oh, they don't care about that. That might have been a mistake on my part. Okay. Yeah, I could see where I misplayed that one. Making them pitch to Force of Negation would have been a much better option there. We still have a lot of discard. Luckily, there's nothing in our hand that's in our graveyard, so the Snap Surgical is not going to be a problem. Double Ponder. Okay, chose not to shuffle with the first one. The second one is going to get no shuffle. Wow, they like all of the cards. That's moderately terrifying. Marsh Flats is a good pickup, and that allows us to present the win, but we know that they have the Swords to Plowshares. So we're not going to do that. And now they are holding up. Oh, we know about this volcanic island. Okay, so I'm going to... no, the copies are not cast, Emily. So we're all good with that. I do want a Bayou... you know what? I actually have all of the lands that I need. I would like... I would like more discard, but maybe... hitting land drops against an opponent that's not is okay. Yeah, I'll put that on top. Okay. Part of the reason I'm doing this is because, not that I would necessarily do this, but if I play out a Lotus Petal and I put another Lotus Petal on the stack... Oh, okay, never mind. My concerns were abated because they're playing out the Snapcaster Mage. But what they could have done was Prismatic Ending the Lotus Petal that's resolved, and then I might accidentally try to crack it for mana if I need that, at which point they can Snapcast or Surgical Extraction to get the other one from my hand, because I have 3 of them. So I think that the land is just a better choice, and they played the Snapcaster, so that's not a problem. They chose not to shuffle that ponder either. That is worrisome. Okay. They are not hitting land drops, so they have 7 cards in hand. I know 3 of them, and none of them are lands. Another Snapcaster. Wow, okay. And another ponder. They could ponder. They're pondering for a land. They chose not to shuffle. If you wanted a land, you had every opportunity to shuffle your ponder. And they chose to shuffle this time. Okay. So this would be a really good opportunity to, well, Reanimate was not the choice, but actually, no, unfortunately. So I needed a Thoughtseize there, not a Reanimate, because if they, like, the problem is they can just force the Chain of Smog, and them being tapped out doesn't do anything. This was a really good opportunity for me to draw something like a Thoughtseize, and it didn't end up happening. That's okay. Narset, I'm not planning on drawing cards. They're gonna get a lot of cards. Cards like Flusterstorm. That's pretty good. Hey, Rude, how's it going? Okay, this is slipping away from us, which is fine. Witherbloom Apprentice. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm 1 mana away from doing a little bit of everything, but I still need discard. Grief or Unmask play here. Grief better because it's not going to play into the Flusterstorm as much. I am in need of something, some level of disruption from my deck. I have several options. I mean, they did, oh yeah, they have Grief exiled, that's right. Grief is an exile. We know about a Swords to Plowshares and a Prismatic Ending. I don't know if that's, maybe that's a reason to just play out one because I have both. Now they have Force of Will. They're going to discard. Maybe I was okay. They got rid of a Prismatic Ending. Okay. Yeah, playing out a Sedgemoor Witch could be a thing. Yeah, I'm casting the Witch. They don't counter, and I'm not reanimating. They have the Swords to Plowshares, but oh, Gary, you're talking about before. So the thing is, I'm expecting them to force the Chain of Smog. They don't need to force the Sedgemoor Witch, Gary. They can force the Chain of Smog, and I don't get anything out of that deal. Not until I had drawn the Witherbloom Apprentice. So I probably should have acted last turn, but I'm like 1 turn behind, I guess. So they're just upticking this Teferi. They like all 7 cards in their hand, even though one of them is a Teferi. So, I don't know. They're icing. Wow, they're playing Fire Ice. Okay. Another Underground Mortuary. I will put the Verdant in the graveyard. I don't think that this is going to be a win. I don't know what I could top deck to turn this around. But we're going to see. End of turn Brainstorm. And mostly I'm just seeing, like, I want to see primarily if they play fourth Alluring Gust, which they have not shown yet, but now would be a time for them to present lethal without having to worry about me trying to compile a pile of cards to kill them. But they don't have it yet, and they haven't seen it. I don't know. They might play a 1 or a 2 of. Okay. Thoughtseize. Well, you're a little late to the party. Okay, let's start off with a Thoughtseize. Okay, well, this is game 2, thankfully, Rude. This is not gonna work out. So they have enough to hardcast Force and hold up Swords to Plowshares or Flusterstorm. And they, yeah, okay. This is not doing it. But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they misplay. So let's, I don't know, if they counter the Witherbloom Apprentice, for some reason, and then this is not going to work out. But let's just make them play the game. I don't know. This is game 2, yes. Okay, so this is a hardcast Force. Okay, and then I will reanimate and die. How about that? To reanimate and die? Or they could counter it. Okay, sure. Okay, so we're going to game 3. Okay, here's the question. They know about the sideboard juke. Do I re-juke? And like get rid of this package and just go back to being Reanimator? I don't think so. I think that this combo is better. So I'm gonna just keep it as is. Yeah, Newton, I don't understand. I was gonna go out on my own terms, but yeah, Zabeche, Jeskai stuff. Who knows? Okay, well, this is pretty okay. I'm gonna keep this and Juke is relatively weaker versus Plodex. Yeah, I think that's reasonable, but playing the small ball means that I'm committing less into a Reanimate, for example, that can get blown out by a single sword. Whereas if I have a Sedgemoor Witch and I cast something to create a 1/1 and the Sedgemoor Witch gets blown up or exiled, I still have a 1/1, and I think that that level of interaction is probably okay. Speaking of which, Teferi and Narset are not back. Teferi plus or against an Orcish Bowmasters is just kind of tough. Yeah, we got a Containment Priest in round 1, which was, I mean, we had already lost the game, and then they just showed us that they had a Containment Priest, but Super Trooper, which is a recipe to lose? Teferi and Narset? Because I kind of tend to agree. Our opponent, by the way, mulliganed once. They're on 6. They're pondering. They love their ponders. And let's see if they shuffle or keep this one. They chose to shuffle. The second ponder shuffle of the entire match. They've cast like 6 ponders. So what I think I want to do is I want to Dark Ritual out a Grief. And I'm going to do this off of... I'll just do it off of a Bayou. That's fine. Oh, they do have Back to Basics. Okay, well... that's fine. I'm going to take the Ponder, and they can't interact with my combo yet, which is wild. Like, I can just Sedgemoor Witch Chain of Smog, and they're dead. Now, I realize that I could have fetched a swamp here, and I even thought about it to play around Back to Basics, but I didn't. And because of that, I'm going to need to find another land before I cast a Chain of Smog. But I think... Ooh, okay, so... I know they did not play a mountain, so that's good for me. This might be a Narset. This might be a Back to Basics. Kind of hope that it's a Narset that misses. It's the Back to Basics. Okay. So they have one unknown card in hand. I just need a land or Dark Ritual or... Okay, that's fine. I mean, still, they're being clocked for 6. I cannot upkeep Otherworld. This is not going to untap now. So we're all okay, but there's the mountain that they played. There's the Narset. Brainstorm. They can't use that. So I know 2 of 4 cards in hand. Unmask. That's a really good pickup. I'm going to unmask them pitching an Atraxa. And I'm going to create a 1/1. This is why I think that this is really good. So they have another Narset. They have Brainstorm, Snapcaster. These are the 2 cards that I want to get rid of. And I think that it's going to be the Brainstorm. That's just the one that's most mana efficient. They can Snapcaster the Ponder or the Brainstorm. That's all fine. And then I'm going to kill this Narset. This one's going to attack them. This one's going to attack Narset. And I'm still just 1 mana away. They're at 6. Well, face, yeah, but I think that what I'm kind of worried about is them getting a Supreme Verdict, because this Lorien Revealed can get the second white source, and then they just wipe my entire board. So I wanted to get rid of the Narset there. Yeah, and then Joe, Orcs took Narset and Teferi down a peg. Yeah. And since then they printed Long Goodbye, straight up upgrade to eliminate. Yeah, absolutely. It does not pay to play 3 mana planeswalkers like it used to, which I think is fine. Another Ponder. They did not keep up Swords to Plowshares. I guess they can still get the Tundra using the Lorien Revealed. but let's see what happens here. They chose to shuffle. Both of my creatures have menace. We got it. Yeah, absolutely. Sideboard juke, the little ones that could. So got that. We are 2-1, beating Jeskai Control. These enchantments, man. We lost to them in round 1. We have Retribution in round 3, and we are going to move on to round number 4. So let's play this league match. They're dead. Joe, next attack from 6 or 3. Yeah. They just. Ooh, that was a pretty quick queuing for round number 4. That was nice. Okay. Grandpa Anarchy. It's a fun one. So we've got to do the thing a couple of times. Speaking of doing the thing, we have all of the reanimate spells that we want, and then we have 3 different surveils to look at what we want. I don't think that this is good enough, but it was a thought. This is gonna be I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna put back a reanimate. No, I'll put back the reason I'm keeping this is because unmask, and I think that I'm gonna unmask pitch reanimate, or it could be animate dead. I think I just bottom a reanimate. Like the Lotus Petal can help me play around days or something like that in the future. I don't know. We'll see. Won't go fast anyway. Yeah, that's probably fine. Probably was the Petal. But we're against lands. That's going to be a tough one. Lands has gotten a lot better against Reanimate than it used to be, and it used to be really good. Thorn of Amethyst. Yikes. Okay. Wait, this is a Thorn of Amethyst. This isn't a Sphere of Resistance. Are they playing more than 4 of these? Oh, boy. Okay. Well. Fine. I'm going to just do this whole thing. I don't know. I hope it's not 8 Sphere, but it looks like it. Looks an awful lot like it. Yeah, this is moderately annoying, I'm not gonna lie. Ooh, they have a really nice forest, though. Please don't tell me you have another one. Oh my god. Ah! Okay, I am a little glad that I have this Lotus Petal. Not that this is a good thing for me to have kept, but it is going to allow me to do the things that I want. But 2 mana for a Lotus Petal seems a little ridiculous. Do they make a construct here? Probably. Yeah, play out the Petal singular. These 2 stupid artifacts means that I can't play my awesome artifacts. Better to pick basics versus lands? Yeah, maybe. I think that I am gonna get Wasteland screwed regardless. Waste Loamlock? Yeah, absolutely. They have Ghost Quarter. Okay. I've got a lot of basics, as a matter of fact. Okay, so all of my things cost 3. So what I'm gonna do is cast another Lotus Petal, and at the very least, I can end step Entomb. No, I can't. Ooh, never mind. Forgot about that. Okay. Wasteland and Ghost Quarter. Big yikes. They're attacking for 5. I think I'm locked out of the game. Not gonna lie. This is not looking particularly good. I am going to Entomb. I have to work through this. No, I mean, they know that I'm a Reanimate, right? Like, they've seen this Underground Mortuary. They know what's happening. I'm not losing anything by showing them that I play Entomb. I'm gonna get an Archon. They can crack this. Oh, and drew a swamp. Okay. So, gonna make them crack it. Mm-hmm. Fiend Artisan Elves. Question, I think that they saw so much that they know that it's Reanimate. I mean, they got a Soul Guide Lantern as opposed to anything else. So I think that it's not something that we're gonna be concerned about. Okay, now I will concede. Because that needed to be like an Entomb, and I would have needed to find a land plus Animate Dead. Okay. This is definitely a sideboard juke plan. The I can tutor up a Bajuka Bog whenever I want deck definitely seems like something that I don't want to be playing Reanimate against. Okay. I am still doing the so it's probably better for me to have which is bad online versus them. Yeah, absolutely. Snipes loams or loam targets. Okay, so what about this? If I cut a couple of Sedgemoor Witches, because they definitely have targets for that in terms of Tabernacle, and just keep a couple of Fairy Macabres. I don't know. This is fine. The other option is that I could like keep the Worldgorger Dragon combo in there, but it's not as good at doing the thing, so I'll leave it like this. We're gonna kind of do a little bit of a half-half thing where the Fairy Macabres might do something good. Okay, so this is not going to be good enough because I need more than one land against lands. Ooh, Voidwalker would be pretty good. Okay, I will keep this one because this is a turn 1 Archon of Cruelty. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put back Worldly Tutor. Yeah, unmask, pitching Entomb, discarding the Archon of Cruelty. They see the Witherbloom Apprentice, but that's fine. Alternatively, I could hide the Witherbloom Apprentice and show them the Worldly Tutor, but like either way, that's going to get them to the information that they need about the sideboard juke. So we're going to keep it all like this. And Archon does not get got by a Caracas, so that's pretty good. And it is not as bad against something like a Maze of Ith, so I think I'm okay with this. Turn 1 Archon. Let's see what we draw. Archon was definitely the best one. I mean, I wouldn't have been upset with an Atraxa. Ooh, Thoughtseize is potentially good if they don't have a turn 1 sphere, which we did dodge for what it's worth. Okay. Let's see about what this ends up doing for us. We definitely did the thing when we needed to on the play in game 2, but we're going to need to do the exact same kind of thing on the draw in game 3 if we end up winning this one. So it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough ask. I talk faster than you type. That makes sense. There are very few people that can type faster than people talk. And if you do that, you usually are using a stenography keyboard and you are chording instead of actually typing out each letter. It's a whole thing. You probably make a lot of money as a court reporter or similar. Closed captions for things. Now they have generative AI, language learning models and stuff like that for all of that. But yeah, they aren't always going to have a turn 1 sphere. Yes, they are. Rude. They're playing at least 5 of them. And obviously that just means they always have it. This is a crop rotation for an ancient tomb for a sphere. Tabernacle. Okay, well. This is concerning if I don't find a basic quickly. Okay. I need to find another land, a basic land, something very quickly. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem for me. Okay. Did the thing. Ooh, Mazavith. Okay. So, did find the additional land, which I'm not going to try to Thoughtseize them right now. There's a high chance that they have a Life from the Loam in hand, and I don't want to just immediately give it to them. And we won. That was neat. Yeah, we're going to keep everything as is. Okay, they do have Tabernacle, so... Oh, man. Okay, well, this is not going to do it. Wait. Oh, hold up. This is a turn 1 Archon. I can Chain of Smog myself and then reanimate. Am I going to do this again? Yeah, Tappy doesn't necessarily cast Loam, but if they have something like a Yavimaya, then it definitely casts Loam. I'm going to keep this and just hope that they don't open up on a turn 1 sphere. Rude. You're saying I keep, and if they open up on a turn 1 sphere, then let it be on your head. I don't know. Yeah, I don't need the land. I'm good. I just need them to not have, anything really. If they have Crop Rotation Tabernacle, then I'm screwed. If they, I don't know, there's a lot of things that can happen here. They did mulligan. Soul Guide Lantern. Okay. Well, that will do it. Okay. I'm going to keep the land on top. I am going to play out the Lotus Petal. But I have the combo, so we're all good to go if they don't have anything. And even if they have a Thorn of Amethyst, the Witherbloom Apprentice enters the battlefield without any kind of taxing. So I actually still have the mana to do everything that I want. Is that right? No, I don't. It's not quite. But I think we're going to get this one. Hot diggity. Okay. So I am going to get a swamp just in case this doesn't end up working out for me. And then I can Chain of Smog? Question mark? Yeah! Okay. Absolutely smeared them. We are 3-1. That was a little bit of a nail biter for round 4. Is that 4? Yeah, round 4. Okay. Cool. One more for... we've got the positive record sealed up. This has been pretty fun. Underground Mortuary has been pretty good. It's not offered the selection on like the super high end, just playing a land and entombing a creature. We haven't done that yet, but that's all good. They did play the wrong land. Okay, so let's get queued up for another one, the last one of the night. And yeah, nice soul guide. I mean, they had a turn 1 soul guide, so if I didn't rip the land, then I mean, I was gonna have the turn 2 regardless of if I hit another land or not, but I had the land and ended up being fine. But I don't know, it worked out really well. So let me see. You know what? No, I'm not gonna play another ad. We're just gonna hang out, and I'm going to take a look at this deck list. And this sideboard juke has been pretty okay. Yeah, see, okay, we're queued up for the last match of the league, and we won the die roll. That seems fitting. Okay, how about a turn 1 Griselbrand? Yeah, okay, I will keep this. So this is necessarily me thought seizing myself to do it, but it's worth it. And I will again Dance of the Dead, and we're just gonna have to hope for the best, because if not, then I still have Reanimate in my hand for later. Yeah, I think I want to keep this one, Rude. I think I do. So, okay, let's draw 7, and that is a lot of dark rituals. I'm gonna do it again. And there is a discard. However, this is what I probably should have discarded them before playing out the Lotus Puddle. That's okay. So we're going to do this and get rid of a Reanimate. We've got a lot of those. Are we going to see a concession? Oh, we're playing against Storm. Oh, no. No. I can win right now. Because I can't. I can still Thoughtseize the Worldgorger. That's fine. But this is so sad. What I'm actually gonna do is just let's just Entomb and Dance of the Dead, and Archon of Cruelty. Yeah, let's do that. Or an Atraxa. Probably an Archon of Cruelty. Where is the Archon? Oh, are the Archons all gone? Did I pitch one? Oh, no, there's just 2 of them right there. That's fine. I'll get an Atraxa instead. Unfortunately, I probably could have played this a little bit better. Yeah, I have the 2 of them in my hand, which was my problem here. That's okay. Okay, well, I'm going to be able to do it anyway. So Lotus Petal, Animate Dead, Griselbrand, Thoughtseize, Worldly Tutor, Bayou. That's a lot of cards. So I can still cast the Lotus Petal. Yeah, Storm, eat your heart out. Look at this Storm count right here. I'm so sorry. So I'm gonna Thoughtseize myself and get rid of an Archon of Cruelty, and then Animate Dead the Archon of Cruelty. This seems excessive, but this is fine. Oh, I didn't want to do that. This is gonna just, I know that I could, I'm just not gonna click on it for the Worldgorger Dragon. That is a good point though. I can just go infinite with all of this. If I had actually did this appropriately, what I could have done was double Dark Writ. Well, I only had the one animate at that point, so it doesn't matter. Okay, well, I can do that next turn, where I can just animate Archon and win immediately. Okay. If I find another animate or something like that, then we're all good to go. Misty Rainforest, presumably a Ponder. Underground Sea Ponder. Underground Sea. I know, I probably have just like a little bit of a mental gap not wanting to destroy them like this. Two animates because of the one on Grief. On Griselbrand. Yeah. Okay. That's all good. They were gonna be deceased anyway. Sad. I will take the Fairy Macabre as a potential way to disrupt a Gaia's Will line. And I'm going to get rid of... I mean, honestly, probably the Worldgorger Dragon. Maybe not. Maybe a couple of Worldly Tutors. Yeah, let's try this. I think that that's fine. No, let's actually like cut and animate dead and keep in a worldly. Let's keep two. Oh wait, no, I want Dance of the Dead. Animate Dead is better. So yes, there we go. Veils in the One Ring. Yeah, they're not going to be playing the One Ring, but they could have been playing. They are playing Veil, right? I think that this is fine. They're also playing Thoughtseizes. I'm assuming that this is actually just purely the Epic Storm because we saw the Galvanic Relay. Eat or be eaten. Yeah, I kind of hope that I lose, right? Okay, Ponder here. I want the Epic Storm to win. I mean, the Epic Storm, whether it's the deck or the channel, is going to win either way. But I really want the deck to do well. Alrighty then. This is gonna be... I mean, let's start off with Underground Mortuary. Let's see a big Griselbrand right on top. Worldly Tutor. I'm going to keep this because that allows me to do the whole thing over next turn. So let's unmask our opponent. Am I going to unmask or grief them? I guess I'm going to grief them. That's better. Company man would concede. Yeah, that's how you know this is real. I'm not just conceding. This isn't a pay to win kind of a thing. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, they have Dark Rituals and Lion's Eye Diamond. They are a Beseech the Mirror away from winning. They chose not to shuffle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take their bargainable permanent and call it good. I am going to play out my Lotus Petal. And see where things go. They kept their Ponder. I don't know what that says about our opponent's hand. Presumably there's a Beseech or a Burning Wish on top of the deck, both of which get stopped by the Lion's Eye Diamond pick. And, you know, I could have double discarded. That's another thing that I thought about, but I prefer, I mean, next turn I'm going to be able to Worldly Tutor. Oh, wait, no, this doesn't untap. That's terrible. If your land wasn't terrible, I had to animate dead for another crack at their hand. Yeah, absolutely. This is a tap land, so unfortunately it doesn't do quite what I wanted it to with the Worldly Tutor, but it is going to function as an Entomb. So I will... Yeah, I can Worldly Tutor here. I mean, I have an Entomb literally in hand, so I don't know why, but here we go. And because both of my lands are tap lands, I'm not going to be generating any mana off of it. I am going to grab Griselbrand here and just Entomb it. So we're going to put that in the graveyard and hold up my Fairy Macabre and another Entomb. I'm not going to get the dragon because both of my lands are tap lands, and I'm not going to be able to generate the mana needed to go off in the future. Does that make sense? So it's just not going to do exactly what I need it to. Now I am going to, I know Dragon had its chance. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to do everything. Oh, they have a Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay. Well, if they have a Beseech, then they, I mean, I'm going to get them with this Fairy Macabre. Potentially. Okay, so they have Tendrils in hand. So we're going to wait until they pick their spell to cast, which is going to be a Gaia's Will. And what I'm going to do is get rid of the Lion's Eye Diamond and the Lion's Eye Diamond. This is 1, 2, 3. This is currently only a Storm 9. Which is because Fairy Macabre doesn't count as a spell. I am currently going to sit at 2 life. So Fairy Macabre coming in clutch, potentially winning the game for me. They have a Tendrils of Agony in hand that I know about. Tendrils of Agony is Storm 9. I am at 20. Question mark, question mark, question mark. They can Beseech the Mirror. Oh, actually, no. What they do is they Beseech the Mirror. They just get a Dark Ritual. It goes into their hand, and they can cast it. And using the black mana floating. Never mind. Yep. Zabeche, you got it. Okay. I am happy that our opponent saw the line quicker than I did. But upset that we didn't get there, even though our Fairy Macabres were really kind of close. I am not going to juke. I am going to keep this plan. Until I hit Griselbrand and then swap it out. Rude. Potentially. Okay, so this is a turn 1 Griselbrand. Sure, I'll keep it. So I unmask myself, pitching the Fairy Macabre. Yeah, cool. Griselbrand, Lotus Petal up, and I make a land drop still, which is pretty cool. Okay, unmask myself, pitching the Fairy Macabre, and I get to discard the Griselbrand. Yeah, that's a good point, Joe. I was not actually paying attention to that, but you make a good point. I would have had the win if I wasn't playing tap lands. Grief before I draw, that's a reasonable thought. How about just, oh, I didn't get a land here. That's wild. You know, I probably should have gotten a grief, but I wouldn't have had, I mean, I would have been a different 7, so. Yeah, something about reanimate. I mean, I'm drawing the turn 1s. I guess that's something to be said. So we've got Dance of the Dead on this Archon of Cruelty, which draws me a card. Is it a land? Do we get a land? They get to discard a card. Burning Wish. Another Archon. I am dead to a lot of things, but I think that it was right drawing. We'll just see. I was expecting to have been able to draw some more discard, but apparently not. Why didn't I play another? Oh, and discard them? Oh, gosh. You know what? Because apparently I'm not as good a Reanimator player as people think. Yeah, I could have double Thoughtseized them after doing this whole thing. I don't have a good reason, Rude. Oh, well. Yeah, Newton, secret Reanimator player that doesn't know how to discard my opponent. So this does not untap, which is fine. Lotus Petal, okay. Yeah, but I didn't get the land. That's the problem. Oh, if I had drawn a land with the Archon, sure. Yeah, there were some things about it that were positive and negative to the idea, but we're just gonna stick with what we have. I am going to draw some cards here. Okay, now we've got Unmask. We've got a lot of things going on now. So I can combo with Worldgorger here. So this is Entomb. So I'm going to unmask them first, just, you know, in case. But I actually can combo with Worldgorger for the last game of the league. I can Dark Ritual, Entomb, Animate Dead, blink everything, and we're good to go. So I'll take the Beseech the Mirror. Wow, they were really close to actually winning. Check for Mind Break. Yeah, Joe, you got it. You're thinking like a Storm player. Okay. Worldgorger Dragon. Animate Dead, the Worldgorger Dragon. Now I am going to blink this Archon of Cruelty until our opponent is deceased. So now everything comes back. Fun. Survey says Oh, the Archon just comes back. Fun. Okay. Animate the Worldgorger, the Dance of the Dead. Sure, it doesn't matter which one. I will have this, and then this, and then that. I will float some mana because I will eventually have infinite mana out of this whole thing. But we actually are doing the thing. The last game of the last match of the league gives us exactly what we need to win. I mean, they might just be doing this for us. Okay, there we go. Cool. We had a nice little 4-1 for that league. That worked out really well in our favor. And I'm going to open up some chests. Yeah, absolutely. Bryce Shock for the win. By the way, if you're a member, throw the emotes out there. And let's actually take a look at what these chests are going to give us. We're going to open up all 5 of these. And then we can do a deck breakdown. If Moto is going to let me. Okay. Ooh, Leyline of the Guild Pact. That's pretty good. Bitter Blossom. It's an old card. Nobody plays this anymore. And Itali. It's a fun one for Commander. 75 play points. That's pretty decent, actually. All right. Let's break this deck down. The Underground Mortuaries were interesting. As Joe pointed out, there was at least one time where if they were decent untapped legacy lands, then we would have had a win, but we ended up winning game 3 anyway for our last match. We did get to do the Worldly Tutor Entomb trick in times where it might have been cuter than it was actually good, but the power level is there if we want it. I think that this is a deck best played in paper, where you can just vocalize the loop and not have to click through it. But because of that, I think that this is a very powerful deck. Really enjoy the sideboard juke, especially against Jeskai Control, and the ability to just like play a little small ball where they're trying to engage in a bunch of our little things, and we can discard if we discard. We can engage in that kind of a disruption. And then Sedgemoor Witch, just being able to create bodies that our opponent has to answer. Really good. I don't know if the Worldly Tutors were good or not. I think that they work really well with the sideboard juke, but then we're stuck with this chain of smog that we need to find. And this is the hardest part to find if we're playing Worldly Tutor. If we're not playing Worldly Tutor, then the whole thing is hard to find, right? But maybe it's worth it. I don't know. We still didn't have ways to get rid of Leyline of Sanctity, which ended up actually hurting us more than Leyline of the Void. But if we were able to destroy enchantments in general, then we might have been able to interact with that energy flux, not energy flux, the Rest in Peace combo. So I don't know. This could be really good. I think that it is worth giving a shot. The Worldly Tutors have already been swapped out for Trolls of Khazad-dûm in the person who 5-0'd has already swapped these out. So let me see. Maybe only have one tapped land Newton. That makes sense. Breno, thank you. Let's go. We got it. Try the exact list next month. That'll be fun. Luxat Games. Unmarked Grave is better than the Worldly Tutor, you think? Okay. That's actually kind of neat. I kind of like that. Yeah, still kind of effectively 2 mana because you're playing Worldly Tutor and a Surveil Land that enters the battlefield tapped. The idea is that you can do this on your end step, on an opponent's end step rather. But, you know, it's kind of the pipe dream that we didn't get to live today. So yeah. You don't like dedicating so much of your board to the juke. Sure. Feed the Swarm would have gone a long way. That would have been a really good option. Yeah, if we're not playing 8 of these bad boys, we could play, 6 of them. But the reason we're playing a lot of them is because there is a lot of deck to sideboard out when you're doing the swap. So that makes sense to me. So I appreciate all of this. Fantastic in chat as we're wrapping things up. But I am just going to wrap things up and wish you all a good rest of your day. And I will see you again Thursday next week. Make sure to vote in the polls for the deck that you want Thursday morning in our YouTube community page. And also check out these perfect hards from KMC. The inner sleeves are really, really awesome. The code is STORM10 at checkout. Check that all out. There's links in the video description below. I will see you next week. Have a good night.